Hi everyone, my name is Toya and today I will be teaching you all about 5 landmarks and monuments in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. Before we get into the swing of things, I would like to mention that 4 of 5 of the monuments mentioned today are located on the National Mall. The National Mall is sometimes referred to as America's front yard. There are so many field trips held here and there's so much to sightsee, and there are millions of people that come visit the National Mall every single year. The first monument on today's list is the Washington Monument. According to Washington.org, the Washington Monument began construction in 1848 and was finished in 1884. Some may think that this is a very long time for a building to be constructed, but there was actually a pause for a little over 20 years because of lack of funding in the Civil War. The pause lasted from 1854 to 1879. The Washington Monument was created in honor of our very first president of the United States of America, George Washington, and is located at the center of the mall, shaped like a giant pencil. Some may notice a different color in the Washington Monument, and that is due to the fact that there was a pause in construction and there was a different type of marble that was used from 150 feet going upwards until the Washington Monument was complete at 555 feet. The next monument we will be discussing is the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial. This memorial was created in honor of Martin Luther King Jr., who is a civil rights activist. He unfortunately was assassinated on April 4th, 1968, and he is noted for his I Have a Dream speech, which he gave to thousands and thousands of people. According to the National Park Service, the address of which the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial is located is 1964 Independence Avenue, and that address is significant and symbolic due to the fact that 1964 was also the year that the Civil Rights Act became law. Also, this memorial in particular is very symbolic due to the fact that each entry and approach to the memorial is symbolic of our current rights that we have because of Martin Luther King Jr. and our democracy. Martin Luther King Jr. was the first African American to be honored on the National Mall, making this memorial even more important than it already is. The memorial was finally opened on August 22, 2011, after decades and decades of construction due to lack of funding. Next on our list is the Lincoln Memorial. The Lincoln Memorial was created in honor of our 16th President of the United States of America, Abraham Lincoln. He was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth in a theater in Maryland on April 15, 1865. According to Matthew Gilmore, just days after the assassination, the formation of Abraham Lincoln's memorial was ordered immediately in order to honor our fallen president. It was unveiled on April 14, 1868, and opened to the public finally on May 30, 1922. The next monument and landmark we will be discussing is the most recent and newest on the National Mall. It is called the National Museum of African American History and Culture. According to the National Museum of African American History and Culture website, there are 36,000 artifacts located in this museum, which gives everyone who wants to visit a lot to see and a lot to learn, and they will be there for quite some time to do so. It is the newest museum located on the National Mall, making it number 19 in the list of Smithsonian Institution museums. It was opened on September 24, 2016, so it is fairly recent. What makes this museum so cool, despite what's going on the inside, is that actually the architecture of this museum was influenced by African American history, unlike the other museums, which is why it looks nothing like any of the other buildings located on the National Mall. The National Museum of African American History and Culture goes by 4 pillars, which pretty much let everyone know that despite what you look like, your race, ethnicity, your beliefs, You're welcome to come to this museum and learn about African American history and culture and how it affects you and how it affects your culture as well. If you would like to do so, you need to get your tickets well in advance because they are sold out for months in advance from the date posted. Our last monument we will be discussing today is the White House. The White House is home to the president and the first family. The site of the White House is actually set by our very first president, George Washington, in 1791, according to History.com. But he was not able to live there because of the fact that it had to be built. The White House was officially done and opened on November 1st, 1800, and John Quincy Adams was the very first president to live in the White House. Sadly, there was a fire in 1812 because British troops invaded and set fire to both the White House and the U.S. Capitol. So both the White House and U.S. Capitol had to be rebuilt and repaired. In 1902, former President Theodore Roosevelt renovated the White House, and less than 50 years later, former President Harry Truman had to renovate it as well due to structural weakness in the building. What makes the White House so cool, other than the fact that it's the home to the president and his family, and it's huge, is the fact that it's not only the president's home, but it's also a museum. And it is the only residence of such high standard that is open, free to all public. There are 132 rooms and six different levels in the White House, which gives everyone a lot of information to learn and a lot to see in the White House. So today we learned about 5 different landmarks in Washington, D.C. Some are the landmarks, some are not. I hope you were able to learn more information that you did not already know so far. And thank you all for listening and have a great day. Bye.